Hey, welcome back to another one of my videos. This week I used my new Insta360 tail mount. This is a new mount from Insta360 for your bicycle, and there's some pluses and minuses to it, and I thought I'd go over them really quickly here. Um, this one actually connects in two different places where the previous version only connected to the seat post. As I'll point out right here, um, now it connects actually to the bottom of your seat, which is nice unless you use a rear seat like tail bag. I have a little toolkit that I actually had to mount to a different spot on my bike because I can't put it on the seat anymore if you're going to have this mount on there. So not a huge drawback if you're going to be just going out to get a little bit of footage, but if you're going on a long ride, you might want to think about some other options. Some of the pluses to this, I would say, are the fact that it's way more stable than the previous version. The drawbacks are this definitely is a lot heavier. The mount has some more components, but the pluses to that are that all these pieces here are actually made out of metal as opposed to previous versions and anything you could get from like Amazon or AliExpress. Most of that stuff is kind of like cheap plastic. So I would say for the $65 this costs from Insta360, you're definitely going to get something that's far more stable. This first clip here was with the Insta360 selfie stick compressed, so I didn't pull the stick out. That's maybe a little bit close depending on what kind of footage you can get, but I feel like this is a little too closely zoomed into my butt versus this version here where I actually pulled the stick out. Now, while I think it's really goofy looking and I wouldn't want to ride around for long periods of time just because I know I'm going to get some stares, the video quality that you get when the stick is extended is a whole heck of a lot better. I mean, I think you can tell from those clips there, the quality of the footage that you're getting just looks a whole heck of a lot nicer. So the bottom of the stick actually connects to this little mount that you can kind of unscrew here. Now I'm going to unscrew it because I thought I would try something different. So unscrewing that, you actually kind of make it so that the stick is only connected to the seat, and you can raise the stick up. The only drawback that I saw to this was that it kind of hits against my butt a little bit to begin with, and after some extended riding time, it does tend to kind of slump downward a little bit. It did, in my opinion, get kind of a neat angle, and it's relatively sturdy. Like I said, all these pieces here are made of metal, so like there's some heft to them. So it's not cheap by any means. Like it was actually locked in pretty good once I tightened everything up, and I didn't over tighten things, but eventually, because of the way that the mount is created, it eventually will kind of slump back down like this. And I'd say if you were riding on the road for a shorter period of time, it probably would hold up. And here you'll see in my little demonstration, as I'm getting it kind of set up here, it does start up pretty good. And I'll admit, I'm not really technically savvy with the Insta360 video platform for the creator, and I'm sure I probably could have done a little bit better than this. I do feel like it's kind of just because of like how close it is actually to my body, it does feel like a little bit rounded, like almost like a fisheye. But if that's the kind of footage that you're looking to get, maybe for a shot or two, you might actually be pretty impressed. I'm going to speed the video up here a little bit. So this is 8 times the normal speed, and as you can see, the camera's kind of tending to just grab onto my back over and over again, and like I said, create that fisheye effect. And after maybe about 10 or so minutes of riding and a few bumps here and there, I'm riding on a pretty flat surface, but there's a kind of like a few little like ups and downs here that actually, once I kind of bump into them, tend to make the stick just kind of like slump down. I think this is kind of that area here where it just kind of like went, just kind of fell down. I mean, the desired effect is still pretty cool. I probably don't think that I would use that very often. I think I'd probably actually, and you can see here, it's still unclicked. I would probably just keep that screwed in there. It didn't really affect my Garmin Varia like taillight at all. I still was getting little traffic notifications when there was actually a guy on like an electric scooter thing came up behind me, and it actually did sense him. So that was nice. I mean, I was off road. As you can see, my bike is totally disgusting looking. But I got some pretty cool shots, I felt. So um, the other plus side to like the Insta360 stick is obviously like the fact that it does like the invisible video. It is made of metal, and it stands up pretty well. Like I know like a couple times I pulled the stick in and out, and each time I did, like I felt like it was still pretty darn sturdy. At one point I kind of compressed the stick and water shot out of it. It was raining most of the day when I filmed this, and you can see from a couple of like the totally disgusting looking at my bike here. You can see from some of the video shots that I got, there's actually like little water spots on the camera. So something else that I wanted to test out was on the front of my Garmin. I actually bought this little like adapter, because Insta360 sells this mount, which is kind of neat. It's like an out front mount that you can put your Garmin on, but it comes out really far. So I figured for $6 I would buy this metal mount that I found on Amazon and give it a shot. I was worried that it would probably be covered up by my Garmin being there, because the Garmin's pretty big. I have the Garmin 1080, which is kind of a larger device. So taking the Insta360, and I'll give you a little demonstration here. I'll unscrew it from the back so you'll see how easy it is to kind of pop it on and off. And I'll say for what it is, and I have an older version of Insta360, they kind of, in my opinion, the device itself really hasn't gotten all that much better. Sure, the screen on the new version is bigger, and it's a little easier to see as opposed to the one that I have. But as far as the video quality, I still feel 4K is more than enough, especially if you're just putting things onto YouTube. You don't really need 8K video. Most people watch all these YouTube videos on their phone, so super high res stuff really doesn't up convert all that much better. So here it is mounted on the front, and I thought, even though with my Garmin, even though it being so close to the front of my Garmin, it still actually got like a relatively decent quality video for where it's at. And you can see here essentially like where it's at. It doesn't stick out too far, and I wouldn't leave it on there for extended period of times. And I do have the little like rubber cover on there. If I'm not filming something, I'm going to put that little rubber cover on there. But just showing you a couple more angles that it kind of can get just in that position, just for like a little bit of B-roll, you know, if there's something to the side of you, or if you want to capture yourself. I'm not really huge into showing my face all that much, because most of the time I'm grimacing, but you can see, you can kind of rotate it around and actually get some pretty sweet B-roll shots. But for $65, in my opinion, this is totally worth it. The shots that I get here with the stick extended, absolutely awesome. Very pleased with it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.